Hey everyone, welcome back to Critical Hit Reviews, the place where we break down the best and worst of gaming to help you decide what's worth your time. Today, we're stepping into the King of Iron Fist tournament with Tekken 8. This is the latest installment in Bandai Namco's legendary fighting game franchise, and after spending dozens of hours in training mode, ranked battles, story mode, and just hanging out with friends smashing buttons, I can confidently say this is not just another sequel. Tekken 8 feels like a redefinition of the series. A bold new chapter that blends accessibility with depth in ways I didn't expect. Let's get into it. Before we dive deep into gameplay, it's worth talking about the legacy of Tekken. This series has been around since the mid-90s, and for many fighting game fans, it sits right alongside Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat as one of the pillars of the genre. What sets Tekken apart has always been its commitment to 3D movement, its vast roster of unique characters, and its intricate yet rewarding combo system. With Tekken 7, the franchise saw a huge resurgence in popularity thanks to online play, esports support, and some great guest characters. Tekken 8 takes everything that came before and pushes it further, both mechanically and visually. The first thing I want to highlight is gameplay. Tekken has always had a reputation for being technical and even intimidating for newcomers, but Tekken 8 introduces a new heat system that changes the flow of combat. At its core, this mechanic encourages aggression. Activating heat mode gives your character extra properties, chip damage, extended combos, and unique offensive options. It means fights are faster, more explosive, and less about turtling in the corner. For veterans, the system adds a fresh layer of strategy, letting you control tempo and momentum in ways Tekken 7 never allowed. For newcomers, it's a straightforward power-up that makes you feel dangerous without needing to memorize 100 move command lists. It's a brilliant way to satisfy both sides of the audience. And yes, the combos are still brutal. Juggling opponents across the screen never gets old, and the improved hit sparks and camera shake make every launcher feel like a sledgehammer. Now let's talk about presentation. Tekken 8 is the first game in the series built fully on Unreal Engine 5, and it shows. The character models are stunning, with insane attention to detail, scars, sweat, fabric textures. It all looks incredible in motion. Stages are more dynamic than ever, with destructible elements and environmental shifts that make fights feel cinematic. One of my favorites is the stage that collapses into multiple levels during the fight. It's like the environment is fighting with you. Combine that with the bombastic particle effects from the heat system and rage arts, and you've got one of the best looking fighting games ever made. Tekken's story has always been a mix of soap opera melodrama and martial arts anime, and Tekken 8 fully leans into that. The central plot continues the long-running Mishima feud, this time focusing on Jin Kazuma's clash with his father, Kazuya. Without spoiling too much, it's a more cinematic and ambitious story mode than Tekken has ever attempted, blending cutscenes with playable sequences seamlessly. What impressed me most was how smooth the transitions are. You'll be watching a cinematic fight, and suddenly you're controlling the character without a loading screen in sight. It feels like you're playing an anime movie. Is the story over the top? Absolutely. But that's Tekken, and honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. Of course, a fighting game is only as strong as its roster. Tekken 8 launches with a stacked lineup of 32 characters, including returning favorites like King, Paul, Nina, and Law, alongside some newcomers who fit right in. Each fighter feels distinct, and the balance between them is surprisingly tight for a launch version. What I love is how approachable the game makes each character. There's now a special style option that maps some advanced moves to simpler commands, making it easier for beginners to jump in with their favorite fighter. But don't worry, it doesn't dumb things down. If anything, it's a great way to get people hooked before they dive into the deeper, technical side of Tekken's marvelous. Online play is where Tekken 7 really struggled at launch, but Tekken 8 makes a huge leap forward. The game uses rollback netcode with crossplay across platforms, which is a massive win for the community. Matches feel smooth, and I've had consistent results whether I'm playing against someone on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. There's also a new online lobby system that feels like a modern arcade. You can walk your avatar around, challenge players, or just hang out. It captures that old school community feel while still being streamlined for quick matchmaking. For anyone who wants to take Tekken seriously, the infrastructure is finally there. Beyond online, there's plenty of content here. Arcade Quest is a fun mode that acts as both a tutorial and a casual progression system. You create an avatar, go through virtual arcades, and gradually learn mechanics while customizing your character. There are also training tools that are more detailed than ever, letting you practice frame data, setups, and even record AI to test against. And customization is back in a big way. Whether you want to give Paul his ridiculous tall hair or turn King into a neon-clad wrestler, the game gives you a ton of freedom to make characters feel like your own. No game is perfect, and Tekken 8 has a few blemishes. One thing I haven't touched on yet, but deserves a huge shout out, is the sound design. Tekken has always had a legacy of amazing music, from arcade techno in the early days to full-blown orchestral and electronic fusions in Tekken 7. Tekken 8 continues that tradition, with the soundtrack that pumps adrenaline straight into your veins. Each stage has its own theme and they're dynamic. The music ramps up as the fight gets more intense, pulling you deeper into the action. The sound effects are equally top tier. Punches and kicks land with a bone-crunching impact, and the heat system comes with audio cues that make it feel even more powerful. When you finish a match with the rage art, the booming effects combined with the cinematic visuals make it feel like the screen is exploding. This is a fighting game that doesn't just play great, it sounds great. Another major point is Tekken 8's potential in the esports scene. Tekken 7 became a mainstay in tournaments like EVO, and Tekken 8 has everything needed to push the competitive scene even further. The heat system adds hype for both players and spectators, making matches faster and more explosive. Add in rollback netcode and crossplay, and suddenly you have a game that's built to sustain a global community of players competing against each other. Even early on, you can tell Namco designed this with competitive longevity in mind. Training tools are deep, online ranking is structured, and balance patches are promised. For anyone who enjoys watching fighting games as much as playing them, Tekken 8 is going to dominate streams and tournaments. Something else that deserves attention is accessibility. Fighting games have historically struggled to welcome new players, but Tekken 8 makes some smart choices. The special style controls I mentioned earlier give casual players a way to jump in without memorizing full movements, while the arcade quest mode acts as both a tutorial and a fun campaign. On top of that, the game has solid practice tools, detailed move lists with notations, and visual indicators that help explain what's happening. It's still Tekken. There's a learning curve, but Tekken 8 is the most approachable the series has ever been, and that's huge for growing the player base. And finally, let's talk longevity. Tekken 7 lasted nearly a decade thanks to strong DLC support and regular tournaments. Tekken 8 is positioned to follow that same path, with a robust base roster and plenty of room for new characters, balance updates, and seasonal content. If you're worried about dropping money on a fighting game and having it die out in a year, don't. The community is already massive, the competitive scene is gearing up, and Namco has every reason to support this for years to come. Tekken 8 isn't just a game you'll play this month, it's a game you'll still be playing years down the line. Tekken 8 stands out in its sheer level of customization and player expression. Yes, character costumes are back in full force, with the ability to completely change the look of your fighter, from silly joke outfits to stylish redesigns. But the customization goes deeper. Your online avatar can be tailored to reflect your personality, and you can even decorate your player profile with emblems, titles, and cosmetics that give the online lobby a community feel. This might sound like small stuff, but it actually matters a lot. It gives you ownership of your identity in the game, making wins feel more personal and losses a little less painful when you can laugh at your neon-suited Paul or samurai-style Jin. Fighting games thrive on community and individuality, and Tekken 8 gives you the tools to express yourself as more than just your character choice. It's another layer that keeps people invested long after the first few matches. The story mode, while cinematic, can sometimes drag with unnecessary cutscenes. Some character designs might not click with everyone, and balancing will inevitably be an ongoing process. Load times are solid but not instant, which feels noticeable compared to some other fighting games. And of course, the learning curve is still steep if you want to master the deeper mechanics. This is Tekken, after all. But at the end of the day, Tekken 8 is one of the strongest fighting game launches in years. It's beautiful, it's brutal, and it's incredibly fun whether you're a newcomer mashing buttons or a veteran chasing frame. Perfect combos. With this heat system, polished visuals, robust online play, and stacked roster, it's the best the series has ever been. If you're a fighting game fan, Tekken 8 is a must-buy. If you're new to the genre, this is the perfect place to jump in. Tekken has always been about power, style, and hype, and Tekken 8 delivers all three in spades. That's it for this review. I'm giving Tekken 8 a critical hit. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dive reviews right here on Critical Hit Reviews. Until next time, fight on.